She's sugary, she's spice. She is everything plus nice. Take her one-on-one class and she provides the best advice. She'll take you down to the trenches, but only to lead a new way. Only for the sake of you and your legacy to establish a new day. Let's give a warm welcome to the Chief Reprimander and the Supreme Hugger, G. Smith. G. Smith.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I am Chi Smith, your host for the Inner Chi Show. Thank you guys for showing up today. Listen, today's a struggle, just a little bit. If I can be honest, right? We're family. I am Chi Smith, the owner and CEO of Energy. I am also a wellness care counselor, and please excuse the attire on today, because today will be brief. And I've had a lot of meetings and some late sessions on today, but nevertheless, I am committed to sharing some information with you all. And as you guys may know, here at the Inner Chi Show, we love to write things down. So go grab your pen and your paper, because research shows us that when we write things down, we remember them a lot longer. And so you never know what information you may gather along the way, some gems that may be dropped, and you want to make sure you don't miss those nuggets, right? You can always revert back to your notes. Another thing, here at the Inner Chi Show, we know that we're not selfish people. We're non-judgmental people. What does that mean? That means that we don't judge anybody. We love everybody, and there's no judgment zone. You come as you are, and because we're here to learn. We're here to learn about ourselves. And that's the great thing about the Inner Chi Show. We're here for self first. I'm an advocate for not going above and beyond unless not that you have to have it perfect, but that you have some knowledge of something. And so here at the Inner Chi Show, we like to learn. We like to get information for ourselves. We like to learn knowledge of self from here first, and then we share with others, right? So that they can get it for themselves, they can master themselves, and then they can give it to others. And before you know, it's a full-on domino effect. So I really want to say thank you again so much for tuning in. This is going to be really laid back and really quick, like I mentioned. But many of you may know that we are in a series of dysfunctionality, right? We're talking about dysfunctional families. And this is why it's a struggle, because dysfunctionality has been accepted as the norm for so long. And what does dysfunctionality mean? What does dysfunctional mean? It means not operating normally or properly, period. Something that's dysfunctional, it's not operating effectively as its original intention. That's what we have to get. Dysfunctionality is something that's not operating normally or properly as its original intention. And so if you think about the dynamic of the family or anything as such, it's things that we have allowed, that we have said okay to, and we have deemed it as normal, when ultimately the things that we're deeming as normal was never its original intention. What are you talking about, Chi? Okay. On my wonderful travel time home today, I started thinking about different herbs, right? Different herbs. You guys, again, know that with Energy, we provide therapeutic solutions. And so we use a lot of natural remedies, a lot of organic natural remedies, homeopathic remedies. And as I was just thinking about the various herbs that I use and that I recommend to others and I recommend to my clients, it occurred to me that, just for an analogy, what I use thyme for, I may not use rosemary for. What I may use cayenne for, I may not use basil for, right? What I use mint for, I may not use, calendula for, right? It's just, everything has a purpose and everything has its original intention. And it occurred to me that the reason why we are experiencing so much dysfunctionality, so much unbalance, so much instability is because we have not sought after the Creator to inquire what was the original design of the family. You know, I often think about men and women, and when they get together with someone, it's generally for a self-serving need. Let's be real, we're family here. How many people, how many of you have honestly said you have gotten yourself into a relationship, and in the middle or the beginning of the relationship, you said, God, what am I to do with this woman? God, what am I to do with this man? God, why did you introduce me to this woman? God, why did you introduce me to this man? What is it that you would have for us to do together? Just a question, just a thought. Because there was a post right after last week's introduction into dysfunctionality and dysfunctional family that the reason that the divorce rate is so high is because so many individuals did not know their divine purpose before getting married. And so along the way, people learned about themselves, they evolved, they grew, and they realized this ain't it. Had they had a common goal in mind in the beginning, had they had a mission, an objective for getting together for the divine purpose, maybe, just maybe, the divorce would not have taken place. Now I'm reminded of a prolific individual who has transitioned, the great Dick Gregory. And in one of his interviews, we all know Dick Gregory, but in one of his interviews, he shared that at some point he was like, I don't love my wife. And I'm paraphrasing. But what he said as a follow-up in that interview shed so much light to me at that moment. He pretty much shared, no, we got together with a common goal in mind. Now they had children and was married for a number of years. But it occurred to me that everything not only has a purpose, but even when one or two or more has a purpose, it has a purpose to be fulfilled. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm caught up because functional means, in the word dysfunctional, the functional part means purpose. So if functional means purpose, the dys part, DYS, means difficult. So that means we have a difficult purpose happening all across the world. And it doesn't matter if it's a family, it doesn't matter if it's a business, it doesn't matter if it's school, it doesn't matter if it's any other industry arena. Let me say this. Fish don't have to inquire about one another when they get together with other fish. Birds don't have to inquire about their purpose when they are amongst other birds. Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, does not have to wonder about its purpose. And so it is with the human species. That it seems as though we are the only creature that has a hard time grasping our purpose. And so it is as we continue to break down the family unit and the original purpose of family and why family was created and what each individual of the family purpose is. I think about a particular fruit in the department store that I ran across years ago called, and many of you may have heard it and know of it and may even love it, a grapple. A grapple. Grapple, a grapple. It looks like an apple, but it's called a grapple. And instantly I said, well, did a grape and an apple come together and make a baby? And there you go, a grapple. And as funny as that sounds, yes. And so then I really started filtering through that thing. Like, why did they make that thing? And it occurred to me from a scientific perspective that you had potentially two separate fruits that from an agricultural perspective did a cross-pollination and then evolved itself and morphed itself into something that we now visibly have, that now we can give it a name, that now we can deem as an existence of something now that has become normal, something now that we can accept to see in department stores, something that we can call now a fruit. Now, I'm sure each individual fruits before there was a cross-pollination had its own individual purpose. But somehow, some way, somebody thought it was a great idea to blend the two, to create a new normal. And that's when it really made sense. That dysfunctionality, dysfunction, difficult purpose has become a norm for many of us. We've given it a name, we've accepted it, and we expect to see dysfunctionality. No one seems to question should that grapple really be a thing. We just accept it. Oh, that's nice. That's different. I'm going to try it. Oh, it's good. I like it. I'm going to start buying it from now on. And that is how we've been doing life. With our significant others, with our children, with our business partners, with our teachers, with our students, with our neighbors. But the strangers that's pumping gas next to us, the stranger that's in a grocery aisle, that's how we have conducted ourselves at these family functions. Every year you see something new. Every year you see something different. And we just say, oh, okay. Well, that must be so-and-so's new so-and-so. Well, that must be the thing. Well, that must be the new offering. Well, that must be, oh, okay. The acceptance of something without understanding its true purpose can be dangerous. It can impede upon your progress of the divine purpose, of the original purpose. It is what we allow. Whatever you, me, whatever we allow will happen. And if we allow it, it can become our new normal. And if we're not questioning it, if we are not questioning it to decipher and discern if this is its purpose, we are going to be in trouble. Many households deal with dysfunctionality. Some of it is domestic abuse, some of it is substance abuse, some of it is neglect. Some of it is untreated mental illnesses. And that's because we're not questioning these things. And we got to stop saying, well, I came out okay. I got smacked up a couple of times. I got smacked around. I got thrown around. I got this. I got that. Look. But it was all right until it wasn't all right. Right? At what point do we consider discipline abuse? All I have to do was smack upside her head a couple times, and talk to her crazy or do this and do that. She'll listen. She'll get in line. That's all you got to do. You got to put your foot down. And at what point of that becomes violence? I'm stressed. Pass me that smoke. Pass me that. Pour me another glass. It's all right until it's not. At what point do we call it substance abuse? What we allow, what we accept can become our new normal if we're not careful, if we're not questioning it. This is how dysfunctional characteristics and traits can come into play. Leaving your babies with so-and-so or alone It's okay until it isn't, until a few times you've done it, until something happens. And then it's called child neglect. Ignoring signs from your babies can be dangerous. At what point is it all right until it isn't? Until you realize that now your 48-year-old adult male child really does battle attention deficit disorder. Dysfunctional. Behaviors, characteristics that we have deemed as normal when it was never its original purpose. What boundaries are we setting in the home? What boundaries are you setting in your business? What boundaries are we setting in government? What boundaries are we setting at schools? What boundaries are we setting in our communities? It's all right until it isn't. What we allow will be allowed. In our practice, we always ask, especially when it's couples, okay, and so what part do you feel you played in it? And most times you get, oh, wow, I ain't do nothing. I mean, so you're saying you're perfect? No, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's always easy to shift the blame. It's always easy to not say what part we played in it. It's always easy to deflect. But accepting too many high-pitched, aggressive tones was all right until it became verbal abuse. Walking around the house like roommates was all right until it wasn't. Until it became a trait of poor communication and or no communication. Allowing him or her to spend a little bit here and there from the bank account, or to pull a little bit out of your savings or the intended goal of buying the home, was all right until it wasn't. And now you're dealing with setting the right boundaries in order to reach the common goal. What have you allowed? What have we allowed? We're talking about dysfunctionality. We're talking about things that have derailed from its intended purpose. And definitely as it relates to the family unit, we have gotten off track. We have become unbalanced. We have become unstable. We have become disoriented. Because somewhere along the way, somebody allowed it. And then another person saw it, never thought to question it. It seemed right. So they accepted it. They became attached to it. And now it has become their normal. They think it's okay. They will never question it. They get involved with someone else. And the cycle continues. And so it is as you are raising your family, your children even. It was all right for little Johnny to do X, Y, and Z until it wasn't. When do we question, is this God's divine purpose for this to be that way? When do we question it? When do we understand that dysfunctional means difficult purpose, bad purpose? Dys, negative. Functional means something has a purpose. Nothing that God does is negative. So if it's causing a negative response, that means it's not being operated in its intended, originated purpose. Y'all, that's all I got tonight. That's what I got. I hope it was good to you. I hope you got some nuggets. And I hope you are able to sit down with your family and discuss what things have been not operating properly according to its divine purpose. Question, should we have been doing it this way? Is there another way? Sometimes that's the question. Is there another way to do this? What are the repercussions, if any, if we do it like this? I love y'all for real. Thank you so much. This is not to be a downer. This is for us to be thoughtful and to provoke thinking. All shows will not be the hype energy because sometimes we just got to get some teaching. Sometimes we got to get some thought-provoking conversations going on around a campfire, if you will. But not necessarily campfire because it's hot here in Texas, okay? So be blessed. Love on your family this week. Send us an email. Let us know how the show is working for you and or not. If there are some topics, some real topics that you like to see discussed, let us know. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, let us know that as well too. Okay? We appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you next week with more Dysfunctional Family Series. Have a good night.
She's sugary, she's spice. She is everything plus nice. Take her one-on-one class and she provides the best advice. She'll take you down to the trenches, but only to lead a new way. Only for the sake of you and your legacy to establish a new day. Let's give a warm welcome to the Chief Reprimander and the Supreme Hugger, G. Smith.